Every year the world celebrates the same illusion. Calendars change. Fireworks twist across the sky. Leaders promise that there will be renewal, revival, and reforms. Cities light up with positive energy. Families raise their glasses to better days, and societies quietly whisper a familiar hope to themselves. This year will be very different. But history records a colder reality. No empire has ever been able to leave its past behind simply because the calendar changed. We may wish that debts reset when the calendar resets, but unfortunately, reality is not like that. Because while time renews many things, debt does not renew. Debts accumulate and invite interest along with them. Debt follows nations like their own shadow, and in fact, beneath some of the greatest collapses in history, the causes were not wars or revolutions. Those collapses began at the exact moment societies believed their problems would disappear together with the calendar. This is the story that explains why new beginnings have so often been the most expensive illusion in financial history, and why old debts never truly die. They simply wait. Every January, humanity repeats the same ritual. Markets reopen. Budgets reset. Politicians speak about new chapters and fresh opportunities, and people lean on the comforting belief that time itself brings forgiveness. However, when we look closely at history, a harsher truth becomes visible. The numbers on the calendar can change, but the numbers in the ledgers do not. Debt survives the celebrations. It survives speeches. It outlives new governments and new ideologies. In many cases, it even outlives entire civilizations. To understand why, we must look at where debt began. In ancient Mesopotamia, debt was not an abstract concept. It had a face, a name, and an address. Farmers borrowed seed, believing the next harvest would save their lives. Merchants borrowed silver to embark on dangerous trade routes. When the rains did not come or markets collapsed, debt did not simply cause hardship. It created anger as well. Kings learned an important truth. Too much debt destabilized not only economies, but also power itself, so they invented a mechanism that looked like mercy, but also served governance. At special moments, often at the start of a reign or at symbolic renewals of time, rulers declared debt forgiveness. Slaves were freed. Lands were returned. Ledgers were wiped clean. Society was promised a safe beginning. But these jubilees were not moral revolutions. They were pressure valves. Resetting the system did not fix it. It only prevented it from exploding. The system restarted. The cycle began again. Debt paused, changed shape, was redistributed, but it never truly disappeared. This illusion allowed rulers to stay in power. People believed in renewal. The structure remained the same. Rome inherited this logic and refined it. Every January, new officials took office. New oaths were sworn. New political promises were made. This ritual of renewal gave Romans the feeling that history could be changed at any moment. But the Roman economy was built on an impossible bargain. Conquest financed the state. The state maintained armies. The armies protected conquest. Conquest brought new revenue. Until it didn't, that as expansion slowed, Rome continued to live as if infinite growth would last forever. It borrowed from the future to maintain the luxuries of the present. Taxes rose. Money was devalued. Obligations quietly accumulated for years. Rome did not collapse in a single year. It slowly aged into decline. Every new year, words of revival were promised, but none of them solved the underlying bill. Rome did not burn down in one day. It grew old financially, and eventually, collapse became the unavoidable end. Centuries later, medieval kings faced the same problem. Wars, famine, and plagues shattered treasuries. Those in power turned again to the familiar system of renewal. New coins were minted, old debts restructured. Temporary, new taxes introduced. Each reconstruction was presented as salvation, yet it preserved the imbalance. Symbols changed, languages changed, but debt stayed constant. fresh beginnings were often nothing more than old debt displayed under a new name. The modern era perfected this illusion. After World War I, nations promised development, but inherited debts too large for their systems to bear. Germany printed money to survive. Hyperinflation destroyed savings. Society fractured. After World War II, governments learned a different lesson. They realized they could not erase debt. They could only build systems that revolved around it. Bretton Woods, central banking, fiat currencies. These were not solutions to debt. They were mechanisms designed to manage its growth invisibly. The system worked precisely because the numbers were moved out of public sight. As long as people did not see debt, they stopped fearing it. By the end of the 20th century, New Year was no longer just a cultural ritual. It had become a financial ritual. Budgets closed, plans renewed, forecasts painted with optimism. But structurally, nothing changed. Families took on new credit to hide stagnant wages. New Year became less of a celebration and more of a sedative. This is where history starts to worry. Empires do not collapse because they stop growing. The problem lies deeper. Empires collapse because they mistake delay for a solution. Debt buys time. Time feels safe. Safety reduces urgency. Reduced urgency allows problems to accumulate quietly. The most dangerous moment is not panic, it is calm. It is the period when leaders say everything is under control, simply because the numbers are hidden well enough to make people forget. But systems reward delay. Politicians are rewarded for postponing pain. Banks profit from accumulated debt. Voters prefer promises over discipline. And every January, a psychological escape door opens. We'll fix it next year. Because hope reduces pressure. Reduced pressure deepens risk. And one day, as if nothing had happened, the reckoning arrives. Not with fireworks, but with silence, frozen markets, broken pensions, vanished savings. The illusion no longer has room left on the calendar. When someone tells you, New Year, new beginning. Remember the real lesson of history. Civilizations do not survive by resetting. They survive by confronting reality, whether carved into clay tablets, written on parchment, or hidden inside digital ledgers. All debts obey the same law. Time does not erase them. Time multiplies them. The new year is not a clean page. It is another chapter written on top of unfinished chapters. Another year in which we choose either to confront reality or to delay it once again. Because in finance, time is not forgiveness. Time is interest, and every new year is not a beginning, but a continuation. Thank you for watching us. If this topic was interesting to you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications. In the upcoming videos on this channel, we will take a deeper look at history, economics, and the major processes shaping the world. Your opinions are important to us as well. Share your thoughts in the comments. Remember, those who understand the past build the future more correctly.